All right, we are live with TWiP photo critique number 213. Shadows.
Every time you say what episode this is, I can't believe we've done that many.
213, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, it's fun. It's fun. This
yeah,
is
good
this
stuff.
is a good release. We get to chat about photography. We do. I mean, you said this. You said this at the beginning of the year. We need to shake up how we're doing these critiques, and I agree. There's some good ideas afoot on how to change them around. Even the mechanism for submitting the photos. Although I don't know, we'll have to ask the community. I don't know. I like submitting the photos as part of the comments for the event itself. It keeps it all nice and tidy in one little area.
Yeah,
Or do we need something more robust, in there? I don't know.
I I will say I really didn't like it when you started doing this on
Really?
in the feed. I thought, like in that little section. And then I've come to really like it because where people are posting the images and then there's comments on them inside the submission basically channel, right? And I
Yeah.
I really like that now, being able to
Yeah.
see the comments on people's submissions. So I dig it. So
Yeah, because it's simple, right? It's like all
yeah.
in one spot. You don't have to look. Oh, I got to look over there for the comments, and this is where I put my photo, and then the event is here, so I got to go over there. It's all in one little tidy little location. So it's all
Yeah,
good.
and I just
I
figured
came
out
up
where
with that.
everything is. So don't
So
change
don't
it.
don't change it. Yeah, I like to change stuff. I can't. It's a thing. I have to change stuff every now and then. So cool. Before we dive into this one, because we have a good amount of submissions. Thank you everybody for
Yeah.
submitting. What's been going on with you? We haven't chatted in a while. You haven't chatted since I went to Las Vegas for NAB.
Yeah, no, you know what? It's been nice and slow for me photographically. So IEPP did a workshop yesterday with a gentleman, Hugh Foster, out of Santa Ana, an amazing photographer. He was awesome. But I've just been working in the backyard. I am rebuilding my fence. I am building some shooting areas because we're going to start to do a lot more photography in our backyard. And you've seen it, so it's big. And so instead of me going to a park or paying permit fees to go to certain places that are getting overrun, I'm going to
Hmm.
start doing stuff here. So I've
Good.
been in the
Good for
back.
you.
I've been in construction mode for the last couple weeks. So
Good. Good for you. That's good. Sweat equity, increasing your home value with your own
yep.
blood, sweat, and tears. Good stuff.
And if I
Good
never
stuff.
smell cedar dust again, I will be happy. I have cut so much cedar. It's crazy. And I'm only halfway
Wow.
done.
Wow. Wow. Well, oh, good. You'll be done, and then you won't have to do it again for what? How long is that going to last? Is that lifetime or
Oh,
like 10 years or so?
forever. Yeah, I'm
Forever.
building
Yeah.
it forever. Yeah,
Good.
this
Good.
is forever. Yeah.
I am not cracking this nut open again.
No.
But before we get started, this is what I've been up to. Um, I've been taking this stuff. Can you see? You can't really see it. Wait,
What is that?
wait.
It's just
It
shiny. What is that?
it's a drug, and it's called Paxlovid, and it
Uh-oh.
is it is a anti COVID-19 drug because I'm just getting over it for the last like 4 or 5 days. I was dealing with that post NAB joyous COVID nonsense up until what was it, like last night? We tested me and it came out negative finally, but it was mild because I don't know, my immune system is weird, so it was a mild case, but still I was contagious, so I had to
Yeah.
quarantine myself away and do all that nonsense and take this nasty stuff. This stuff, man, you take 3 pills in the morning, 3 pills at night, and for the entire time, your mouth tastes like you've been licking a flaming tire. It's what it tastes like. It's just, you ever burn a tire and then get caught in the smoke? That's what it tastes like. It's
So
disgusting.
it's like Lagavulin. It's like you've been drinking
Yeah, yeah,
peaty scotch.
well, yeah, without the cool side effects other than being COVID free. But yeah,
Oh, well,
so that's where I am dealing with that. But it's all
that
over now.
explains that explains why none of my texts have been answered. Why, like, okay, all
It
right,
totally does. I've been horizontal, dude. I've been
yeah.
curled up in the bed, covered in cats. That's me. That's it. That's it. You know, look. They were looking at me
Yeah.
like, are you dead yet? Can we eat you?"
Can we-
No.
oh my god.
Stop gnawing on my fingers.
Oh my god. I'm gonna send you a picture. This is gonna be great. Somebody just
Uh
sent this
oh.
to me. You'll love this.
Uh-oh. Do I really
No,
want
I'm
to see
gonna.
this?
Yeah. It's totally clean. It's cat humor. So,
Okay. Where'd you? Oh, you said it. Where'd you send it?
in your
Oh, I
chat.
see it. Oh, I see it. Oh, I see it. Okay.
I think I
When
can
your cat
post it.
finds you dead. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah. So can I share that? Let me share this real quick with the folks. Sorry, everybody. I know you want us to start with this critique, but we will start. We will start momentarily. So let me share this, and then share. Can I even share that? I can't share it.
This is what Frederick and I do before we go live. So if we don't start soon enough before we go live, then it overflows into the live.
That's right. That's right. Okay. I think I can share this now because I'm sharing it through preview. So for all you cat lovers, look at this. That was me. That was me right there. But only two. There were two cats. So, yeah. Good times, man. Good times.
That's awesome.
Okay, so let's dive in. Actually, let me switch this back to the community before I forget. Google Chrome. There we go. All right, so let's dive in. This was photo critique number 213. We got a good number of submissions.
We do.
And yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and reload the page. Yeah. Okay. And the first one is from, you get that right? Yeah, Michael Rhino. Michael Rhino, he says, my entry for the Shadows critique is this recent image from a visit to Great Sand Dunes National Park during a cold and snowy evening. And by the way, I met Michael Rhino in person in Las Vegas for the first time. Hey, Michael Rhino, good meeting you. Look at this. Remember, the topic is, or wait, see if you remember this old show. The password is shadows.
No,
you remember that?
Sounds like
You don't remember that show? Oh my God, you're so young.
no. I didn't watch TV, man. I was outside digging holes and lighting things on fire.
There was a show called Password. I think it was called Password.
Oh.
No, or was no. That was like $20,000 pyramid or something. I don't know.
We're so distracted. Let's talk about Michael's photo.
Yeah, let's talk about Michael's photo. What do you think? Shadows.
I love the image. I think, Michael, this is fantastic. I'm pretty sure I know which sand dunes these are. They're like in southern Colorado. It's a beautiful area, so it's really cool. The shapes, the toning, the sort of the oddity of the dark colors, and then the white, which doesn't feel like a normal sand dune or like a snow-covered mountain, right? You get this like surreal mix. I really love that. The nice little bit of sky that we have at the top, I think, is a nice add, that it's not, split in the middle. Like, you're doing all the right things. I do think the foreground is a little bit bright, so I wish that was a little bit darker so it would draw me into the photo a little bit more. But on all of that being said, this isn't really about shadows. I mean, maybe I'd like to maybe see what you think, Frederick. I mean, shadows make this image have depth and possible, but this isn't like photos of shadows. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I love the shot for one. The shot is stunning. It makes me think, though, of course, and we always go here. So I hate to feel like a broken record. Black and white, would this have looked better in black and white or even infrared? I know Michael Rhino has infrared superpowers as well. But even in color, I like the warmth and the sort of organic feel of these dunes or hills with the back or the front lit and dark sky behind them. So on those merits, absolutely. Even the thick border treatment around it really sell this thing. But the topic was, or the password was, shadows. Shadows. So this, which meant the central subject for the shot had to be shadows, or at least not. At least at the very least, shadows needed to be a supporting or a strong supporting character for the main image, right? And this one, though it does have shadows in it, as most images will likely, have shadows in them. This one has shadows in them in the shot, but they're not the topic. Right. So right. I love the shot, but it's not selling us on the whole theme of this critique.
Yes, I agree. And don't be mad at us, Michael. And be nice to me when I see you on Thursday.
When are you going to see him on Thursday?
Him and his wife are going to Coachella. So they're going to stay here before they go. So he's going to come hang out and we're going to have dinner and sit by the campfire and.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Are you putting them in my room? They're staying in my room?
Well, yes, they are.
Keep that room clean, Michael. I am going to need it again.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Michael Rhino. Thank you, sir. Coachella. That's dang, pretty cool. All right. Craig Stampley's up next. He says table for two. Here we go. So this one, I think, similar to Michael Rhino's, this one, shadows play an integral part to it, but it is not really about the shadows, is it? So, but shadows are a strong supporting character in this. Would it be the same shot? Again, here's the litmus test. Would it be the same shot without shadows? I mean, or if the shadows weren't as stark or as contrasty, would it be the same shot? Maybe not. I mean, it'd be about the table.
Yeah, we need shadows to give shape and form to our images, to give depth, right? We need the shadows. They're a supporting character most of the time. So it's not a primary subject. And I would say that almost all of the photos that we have here are very much like that, where the shadow is a supporting character. Yeah. The thing about this image is there's a lot of really strong shadows and a lot of really powerful shadows, but it's in the lower half of the image. So if you were to crop from the top of the table down, so we don't see any of the utensils or the cups or anything, just crop right at the top of the table down, make that your image. Now you have this really wonderful abstract shape and form, and then the shadows become a huge player in that and the predominant subject, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is nice. I could see this hanging in a restaurant or something. No, this is beautiful.
Right, but yeah, you're right. Restaurant, right. Hanging in a restaurant. You're right. That would be.
Yeah, meta.
Is that still a thing, or is that gone now?
Oh, we can't use the word meta anymore because
no, I don't know. I mean, like, is that still like happening? Like, is there still a metaverse, or is it just like, are we over it?
Oh, I think I don't know. But last I read was today. In fact, Facebook was laying off another 5,000 or 6,000 people. So I'm gonna guess the metaverse might not be happening as quickly as they thought. So. Yeah, I think AI stole its thunder. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, they stole the spotlight. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, cool shot though. Thank you, Craig Stampley. I like it. See these thick borders. I don't know. They're growing on me. They're growing.
Yeah, I like it.
Troy Miller, Sundial. I like this. This is an exercise in simplicity right here. I mean, stick in sand.
I love it. So this is at Coral Pink Sand Dunes in Utah, which is between Kanab, Utah and Zion. So if you ever go to Zion, you can drive out of Zion and you can go to Coral Pink Sand Dunes in like 35-40 minutes. It's a very, very small area. And I must have photographed like 100 of these things. I don't know. I was just obsessed with them. And so I just love these. And it's really the shadows that I like the most and how it plays on the sand. So, but the shadow and the stick are equal, but it's fun.
Yeah.
I
dig it. Yeah, this reminds me of, and you and I have had the conversation about patterns and pattern interrupted. And that's what this one says to me. Along with it, obviously the shadow, but in the simplicity of it all, but the pattern of the dunes, even though it's kind of an organic, irregular pattern, it's still a pattern there, but it's interrupted by the stick, and you got to look close to kind of like what's happening here. Is that two sticks? Oh, it's one stick. Oh, the light's coming from, sundial. I get it. And it's what time was it when this was taken? Had to be what, early in the morning? Is this early in the morning or late in the evening?
This is in the afternoon. If it had
Like
been
3?
early, yeah, if it had been early or late, the shadow would have been much longer. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't do anything early,
So I
and
was
I'm
gonna
on
say,
vacation.
as the words were leaving my mouth, is this early? I realized who I was talking to. you don't you don't come out of your cave until twilight.
No, no. And the restaurants in Zion shut down pretty early, so you got to get there before they close. So I don't think I stayed very late either.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I love it. Very cool. Oh, so tell me about this border here too. This is different than the normal borders that I've seen you do.
Yeah, this is a border that I did in Capture One. So it's really funny. I made the image. I was all done, and I thought, oh, I'm going to post it. And then I thought, well, everybody's going to have borders, and I'm not going to have the borders. And I was like the border guy, so I got to at least put some kind of border on it. So
See what you did?
I know. And because of the sand was really white, I wanted a border anyway. So I just did it in Capture One. So I just did a quick mask all the way around the outside, faded it a little bit, and then I just tweaked the clarity, not the clarity, but like the levels and the channels until I got the darkness that I wanted. So
Very nice. Cool
yeah.
shot. Cool shot. Although I think I want to see it without that too, because I like the overall simplicity of it is really that's what draws me into it. And almost like this
Hmm.
one, I almost want it to fall off the edges. Like I want the sand dunes to reach all the way to the edge and fall off, and just leave me with this stick, casting its shadow in the middle there, or
Right.
slightly offset. But I like it. Cool.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks,
And
sir.
next, you're welcome. Next up is me. So this is a shot I did way a while ago down in Hollywood. Was it Hollywood? Yeah, it was Hollywood. Down there on Rodeo Drive. The place where all those shops are. This was a model shoot, portfolio shoot, and just walking around and found this shot or found this palm tree casting this shadow and did the shot. There's a lot of, this was LA, right? So there was a fair amount of cleanup I had to do on that sidewalk. So, harvesting of the gum, as it were. So did a lot of that. But yeah, this was shot on an old 10D. I think this was on my old Canon 10D when the 10D was new. That tells you how old this
I
is.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and the other thing about this, when you see the border on here, so
Oh, I do.
that board,
Yeah.
yeah, the border was done with a Lightroom plugin called LR/Morgify that one of our members, Paolo Bassetti, turned me on to. And I managed to get my brain around how that thing works and wrangled it into submission to have it automatically add the border. If I select the border on export, add the border, put my name on the lower left as kind of a copyright, the title of the image, and then in the top I had it add in, what did I have it add in there? Oh, the file name and the model name of the camera that shot it. So if I use that preset, whenever I export a photo, it will do the right thing, as long as that metadata is present. I thought that was really cool. And I love that look that he came up with for the border treatment. So I did it and we like it.
Very nice. Very nice. No, I love the framing on this, and the use of that shadow. That abstract use of that, like, because I'm always looking for shapes and tunnels and depths and things like that, and I think it's super cool. And I shot with the 10D. I shot a lot with the 10D.
Did you ever do any
Uh,
weddings? You ever do any weddings with the 10D?
I didn't shoot any weddings, but I did have a friend who had several of the attendees, and he shot weddings with me. So I shot the D1X, the Nikon D1X, and he shot the 10D.
Okay.
And I do remember them leaning very heavily magenta. So we were always like correcting that kind of stuff. So, but I absolutely dig this shot. My only recommendation would be to, if you wanted to take it even just a little bit further, would be to take the lines out of the concrete.
I knew you were going to say that. I toiled about that. I swear. I was like, if I take them out, it's not going to look like, it's going to look like one slab. And when do you see that? Or do I leave them in?
You see it a lot. Yeah, no, you see it a lot. I mean, what I'll do a lot of times if I'm doing like a final image, I do this all the time, like for wedding albums and things. It's like, look, it's like taking that out is no effort and it's distracting being there. So let's take it out. And then once you take it out, you can't ever put it back. You can't let it be back in there because now you realize like, oh, those harsh lines,
Yeah. Hey, it's not too late to take it out. These pixels are still molten.
Yeah.
Cool.
Love the image though. Well done.
Thank you. All right, moving right along. Yeah, Paolo Bassetti, he is the artist that pioneered that border technique with the image. Or I don't know if he came up with it. He's who inspired me to do it. Up next is Phil Lewenthal, Ancient Fortress. All right.
Yeah, that's super cool.
It is.
Wow.
The password is shadows.
I feel sorry for your family because you're going to do that all day, aren't you?
I
For
totally
everything.
Yeah, tonight. Eat your vegetables, Cameron.
So Phil, I love this image. I think that this is absolutely fantastic, and I love how the shadows are playing in this. Again, this isn't really about the shadows. This is really about the shape and form of that rock and the idea that we don't really know how big it is. So I think that's super cool. But shadows are really playing into this. One of the things I would try, like when we're talking about like your border, your matting, is I would try to go with a black border, because the light colored border washes out the highlights in the image and reduces the overall contrast of the image. So test it and see what you think. If you haven't already, I mean, you just chose this because you like it, but I think this would be much stronger with a black background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because it would trap it in there, and
right.
Yeah. I don't know. I think most things look. I don't know. Most in any creative endeavor is a loaded word, but I tend to gravitate towards just plain old stark. If you're going to put a border on it, black. Or at least really dark gray. I don't know if how do you feel about images that the artist samples a color from within the image to use as the border? Like, do you? I know you've seen that. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes it works, but it's really a narrow window of when that works or not. Usually, I feel like it wants to be white or black or dark gray or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to use the border that fits the mood that you want to convey, right? And I think that a lighter color like this is not conveying a dark drama mood in the image that you would get if it was a darker or a black color. Now, I know plenty of artists that do colored backgrounds and they incorporate them into the piece, and they're wonderful, but not as a general rule. So.
La Duderina says, I like to use a sampled color for the key line. Now that's interesting.
For the key line, that's definitely a good idea.
Yeah, because it's subtle. It's almost like a little hint of flavor, right? Instead of, heavy-handed. But yeah, I like this shot. Phil's inspiring. He makes me want to go out there. Like Phil, if you're listening to this, you probably could have sold. Oh, I see you in the chat. Phil, you probably could have sold, 500 neutral density filter sets, with the Lewenthal tutorial on how to do this kind of photography.
Yeah. Yeah, this and by the way, Phil, like this is definitely like one of my favorite images of yours. I love how we have that peak of the rock that has that really crisp clarity. It's not washed out by water, that made a haze over it, and then we have this nice falling off of the haze that's creating this depth, and then in the background you got like your secondary hook, your subject that's like deeper in the fog with the shadows streaking. I mean, this is really, really fantastic, and this will really mess with people's heads because somebody's going to think like you shot this from an airplane
Hmm.
which I just think is perfect. So
Yeah, yeah. Phil says, I've had critiques complaining if the border is darker than the lightest color in the image.
well, that
What do you
judge
think
is an
about
idiot.
that? Yeah,
They
yeah,
they just
yeah.
couldn't think of anything else to say, so they picked on your border.
You got to say that with a nasally voice. The border needs to be the darkest color in the image. Otherwise, it's just,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man. I love it. Really cool. Phil, thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Up next is Karen Sweeney. Karen says stained glass shadows. I love it. Onlookers were wondering why I was photographing the floor taken during a recent tour of the Burrell collection. Take that. Oh, that's a floor. Oh, look at that.
Oh
So
yeah,
interesting. Shadows, right? So it is made mostly of shadows or the absence of light because the stained glass there's an obstacle in the way that is creating this on the floor that she then photographed. So well done.
right.
I like it.
Oh, this is my favorite. I mean, this is brilliant. This is spectacular. I love everything about this image, and at first I looked at it and I kind of had the sense that it was light coming through something and creating a shadow, and then as I looked at it deeper, I realized that those are stained glass windows, which is really super cool, right? Like an extra surprise. And then you have all these angles. You have this parallax happening with the shadow, and then you've got the tile behind it, which I didn't know it was a floor. It could have been a wall,
Mm-hmm.
so the way that you rotated the image to give me a sense that it's like a window on a window, all the play, all the juxtaposition that's going on in here. The softness of the shadow to my left leading me to a more crisp shadow, if we say more in focus to the right, kind of feels like a good use of depth of field, if you will, finger quotes. Um, yeah, this is really wonderful. Yeah, just really well done, and kudos for seeing it and taking it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for
Yeah.
collecting it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, everything you said. Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. This is exceptionally well done, and it's one of those shots that makes you stop and think and try to unravel. Because okay, I think I know what's happening here, but where am I in this image? Am I standing up? Is this? Did she rotate it? Yeah, yeah, very well done. And the Karen resisted the urge to just go perpendicular with the shot. I mean, assuming there was a room to do that when she shot this, but doing something that creates this kind of uneven trapezoid trapped in a rectangular frame there. And then she pulled, like she said in the chat, she pulled a color from the image itself to make the key line. So yeah, it all sort of works together. Very well done and
Right.
very intentional, right? That's the thing. It feels very, very intentional. Like everything here, including the crop and the distance on the edges of the frame here to where the lightness begins. All this looks very much done with intent, which I appreciate. So really
Yeah,
nice.
it definitely is done with intent, and that was one of the things I wanted to really sort of point out is that keeping the sunlight inside of your frame with the floor extending to the edge of your frame is is really wonderful, and it just has so many elements that we just enjoy looking at. Right, our brains are just, oh, this is just such a delicious photo. We can look at so many things in here and be drawn in. So
Hmm. Yep.
good job.
Good job. Very well done. All
Shadow.
right. Shadows. All right. Amy Brooks is up next from Sprout to Silo. Let's bring that up.
I like that
There
title.
you
That's
go.
good.
Uh-huh. Look at that. Very nice. I
Yeah.
love this topic. What a fun topic.
Yeah, this has turned out to be really great. This image is super fun for me. I mean, having grown up in the Midwest, I've got family that's farmers. So every time I go back, I'm just enamored by the size of the fields and all that kind of stuff and the simplicity that you have here. I mean, this would be a great Monsanto ad background or something, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. No, you're right. This would, yeah, definitely. And it would make a good, in fact, I may do that. This might make a good desktop pattern for the week. So, or
Yeah.
wallpaper.
And my favorite element in this image are the tracks at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
it gives me the sense that, it's farmland, not just grass or something. Like it could be grass, right? But it feels more like farmland because you've got that little path through there. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
and those give you more of a hint of perspective, right?
Yeah,
Because they
and
give you
scale. Yeah.
in scale, yeah, right? Because yeah, scale more importantly, I guess, yeah. But perspective and scale, if those weren't there, you could probably still work it out. But those really just on the subliminal kind of tip, give your brain something to latch onto and figure out the rest of the photo. So yeah, really nice,
Right. Yeah.
really
Super good.
nice.
I'm not a huge fan of how the tops of the silo shadows are like in the middle of the photo. I wish that we had like a lot more of the field, with this just at the bottom or something. Like I'm struggling with the composition of the shadow in the the sky, if you will, the upper half. So I'm thinking there needs to be some balance going on there, some cropping.
You mean like cropping more of the grass or the greenery out, or
Yeah,
recomposing so that there's more shadow at the bottom half of the image?
one or the other, just to keep the tops of the shadows out of the center, out of the middle horizon, right? Like I would prefer more field. Just
Okay,
make more field.
got it, got it. Yeah, yeah, this is cool. Or without the shadows, just like one little element in the photo that breaks up the grass, or this whatever this is, wheat or whatever. So you have this whole sort of swath of organic stuff with something inorganic hanging out there in the rule of thirds, like a little red tricycle or something. I don't know,
Right.
or tractor,
Right. Right. Right.
an old red tractor sitting right there, right out of gas. Cool, love it. Love it. Thank you, Amy Brooks. Much appreciated. Next up is Nora Zanotnis. Shadow of the Moving Leaves. Shadow of the Moving Leaves. Oh, that's spooky.
Now this is interesting. Well, first of all, I love this. Um, I think that it's such an amazing abstract, and we know what it is, the monochromatic nature. It just right away we recognize it, but yet there's a mystery to it. So I really do love this. This is really beautiful. But my question to Nora is this actually a shadow, or is this like a diffusion looking through a window at the actual plant on the other side of the window? Because it
Mm.
doesn't feel like a shadow. It doesn't act like a shadow. So I'm confused, right? And I like that. Don't get me wrong. I like the fact that I'm confused. So, but I want to know.
Yeah, yeah, I'm curious too. Yeah, but is it technically a shadow though? I know what you're saying. Is it the plant pressing up against the whatever is between us and the plant? But then it's still a shadow, right? Because it is blocking the light and creating a dark area, a void that would have been lit had it not been for that thing. So
Isn't that a silhouette?
that is it. Um,
Is a silhouette a shadow?
and is a silhouette a shadow? Yeah, I think technically yes. So I don't know. I like it. I like it. I like the noisiness of it. I like the simplicity. I think is the draw in, and I think it was La Dunarina in the chat said it looks makes her think of Japan. Yes,
Oh
I
yeah.
agree. Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels very simple and Japanesey. Yeah, very
Yeah.
cool.
Phil says only the shadow knows.
Yep, yep. What evil lurks in the hearts of men. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Well done, Nora. I love this image as I love so much of your art. I think it's really wonderful. So
Mm-hmm. Yep. Really good. Really good. I love Nora's range. I mean, you can see Nora can shoot anything from a landscape to, the inside of a hut in Patagonia or something, to silhouettes, to all this stuff. Like, she knows her way
right,
around that
right.
camera for sure. Love it. All right. Who's up next? Paolo's up
Hello.
next. Yeah, Cyrano the Shadow. My usual street photography, unposed, uncropped, manual exposure. This time it's also straight out of camera JPEG, Fuji film, nostalgic negative film simulation. Look at that. See, and you see, inspiration for my border came from Paolo. Just notice his border. Only I didn't steal your orange coloring for the font though, Paolo.
How cool. Um, I mean, I love these type of shots. I think this is just so wonderful. I think for me, the shadow of the subject in the sunlight isn't my favorite. Um, I mean, I appreciate that it's there, and I appreciate that in this shadow category that we have that nice little surprise that shadow is there, and then that this is predominantly made up of shadows, and I love that. I love what he's done here with this Paolo, and I love this image. Um, I just think that compositionally, for me, I would enjoy it if the person was into the shadows a little bit more to the left, and so then we would have that split between this person that's against black and has some light on them, and then you have all this shadow in this window and this wall, with this writing on it you know so
Mm-hmm.
that's only my preference, but the way the image is presented, I absolutely dig it. Yeah, this is expert. This is great.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I don't know. I'm on the roof about this because I I I appreciate the straight out of camera street photography feel of this. That's just raw. Just takes you into what he saw. This is what was happening when the photographer saw it. He did not ask this guy to do this. It was just the world unfolding. The world according to Paolo, right? So I'm I'm wondering though, like from a more aesthetic standpoint, my brain wants to see more of our character in there, and I want to see more shadow. Like I think I want to see, not that he could have done this because this was more serendipity and spur of the moment and just capturing life as it unfolds. But I'd want to see, given the choice, a little bit more of our subject and the light hitting them and the shadow that he casts, making this funny sort of hand movement on the wall back behind him, projected on the wall, so that it all kind of works together. So we have this shaft of light, a human breaking that light, and then what happens when the human breaks the light? Like, what does that shadow look like? Kind of stretched out and climbing the wall a little bit there. But yeah, but
Yeah, and
cool.
I agree. And there's so much around an image like this that we could discuss. I mean, without Paulo here, like to interview him, it would be hard to know like what was his intent. Was this a spontaneous, super quick thing, or did he see this light and wait for somebody to walk through it? Compositionally, like what all of that sort of played into it. You know, did he wait for the subject that had darker clothes, or like there's a lot we don't know, so we can only go by like what we see here. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But good, cool shot though. Definitely cool
yeah, it's
shot. What did
great.
he say? Let me go back to his description. Unposed, uncropped, manual exposure, straight out of camera, JPEG, Fujifilm nostalgic negative film simulation. Okay. Yeah. Really cool. Really cool. Excellent work. Thank you, sir. All right. Let's load the rest of the comments here. Jim
Yeah.
Peters is up and he says, Mountain Shadows, Greenland. Look at that.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you cannot tell how high those mountains are because he's shooting straight down on them.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah,
can
that's
when you look at the shadows, right? The shadows kind of give it away how high they are.
Well, I don't know. Like you look at Phil's image, like you'd swear that that was like some mountain peak in the Alps surrounded by clouds. Like, how would you know?
Right.
You know?
Right. You had to look close, and then you see in Phil's. You look close, and you see the sea palms. So you're like, oh, those. I don't even know how big sea palms are. So not that those would give me a
Like,
point.
yeah, they're
They're like foot tall. Okay, so they're like Joshua trees then. But in this one, there are no indications of scale for the most part. I guess if you look at the peaks of these mountains here, you can kind of infer that, okay, if these are in fact mountains, then these are huge mountains because the snow is falling off of the peaks here and they go way out here. So by just that little bit, you kind of get an idea of scale and the grandeur of this whole scene. But yeah, if there was something in here like I don't know, what would you put in this area in order to give it some scale? I don't know. You could put anything in there, but
I don't know. Yeah, that would be hard. And then anything you put in there that was like man-made would ruin the scene,
it
right?
ruins the
Just to make
shot. Yeah,
sure.
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put a canoe or something in there, then it just messes up the whole thing.
We could put a red tractor in there, Jim says.
Jim. Hey, everything's better with a red tractor.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. Pretty soon, hey, don't worry, Jim. Probably in like 20 years, there will be a red tractor right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a little farm and everything. All right.
So to speak to the image, like I really enjoy the image and I really love it. There's images like this are a struggle because there's so much going on, so much to look at compositionally. We have what I think is like our main subject, which is the lower mountain peaks. And then you have a lot of other elements that aren't super supportive in that. So I'm kind of struggling with, I feel like it needs to be cropped like the lower right hand quadrant, just as an image in general, saving some of the bay and then cropping off that lower. Every time I knew you were going to bring that up. That little shadow in the lower left-hand corner, we need to crop that out.
Yeah.
And then I think your image gets a lot stronger. Now, with that said, I mean, there's not a lot of shadows in here that are the players, right? It's the sunlight that's really the hero in this image. Where there's sunlight, there's shadows. I get it. Fantastic image, but the shadows are less of an interest than is the sunlight and the texture on those peaks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, it's not the first thing that draws you in to it, the shadows, although they do help. I mean, without the shadows, there can be no depth, right? So it gives us the depth and the height of these mountain peaks. When I looked at, here's the nerdy part of my brain. I looked at this up in this area. I can't not see Batman for some reason. I see the Bat logo. I see Batman.
What the heck?
It's the Bat logo. Like, you cannot see. You don't see the Bat
There is
logo
no
in there.
Bat logo in there.
Oh, you have no creativity. You have no creativity.
You made me hit my microphone and everything.
Because you see it now. Chat, sound off in the chat if you see the Bat logo right there. This is Batman's head or whatever, the Bat logo head right there. These are the wings out there coming out. This could be the Bat Cave. The Bat Cave is somewhere in here. The entrance is just hidden. Just saying.
I'm not gonna tell you what I see. So we'll just stick with the Batman.
Yeah, all right, stick with that. Cool. And Jim says he's going to change the title to Mountain Shadows from 34,000 feet. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
that works. Very nice, Jim Peters. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Love it. Good job.
All right. Is that the last one? Let me reload the page. Let me reload because, might get some stragglers in here.
That dude Arena says, I see giant sunglasses.
Giant sunglasses.
I see dead people.
All right.
I think
Yep, that's the last one. All right. So, what do you think?
Well, for me, I think it's has to be Karen's. I just love that shadow. Yeah. And that's pure shadow, right? That's like all shadow. That could not be more perfect. That entire thing is shadow with a little bit of light. It's so great. It's so great.
The shadow knows. Yep.
And I hope there's more than one of these. Like I hope there's a series of different shots, or there will be. I mean, this is really great. So
yeah, cool. All right, congratulations, Karen Sweeney. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. I mean, no, I mean for sharing this week's favorite shot. Very good. Well done.
Welcome to Frederick's silliness.
It's that's how you stay young, man. That's how you stay young. You should try it. You should try it. You're too serious all the time. Too serious.
I am.
Yeah. See, I still have a 9-year-old, so I gotta be. You should see when she and I start acting silly. You don't want to be around because it's just.
Oh yeah.
It's epic. Yeah. It's epic. All right. That's it. What's our topic for next week? You got one?
Negative space, I think, right?
Negative space. You want to give us a few Troy Miller words, descriptive words on negative space?
Always in the hot seat. So, negative space is the use of negative space. Negative space will become the subject in your topic image, negative space.
Don't you remember from high school, you cannot use the word that you're describing in the description of the word or phrase you're describing?
I barely graduated high school.
That doesn't count.
Yeah. So negative space. I mean, really, when we look at our images, and this is how I'll look at it is that we have our subject matter, which is usually a person or a thing or an object, right? The negative space is the space around that holds it, that carries it, that it floats in, that it supports itself in, and the negative space can oftentimes be the whole subject. Remember when Curtis talked about simplicity, right? Like his very simplistic or minimalism, right?
Minimalism, yeah.
There's a lot of negative space. Now, negative space, this doesn't mean like blank canvas with nothing in it. Like it needs to be part of the environment, the supporting character. So things like that. Did I describe it well? Did I do it?
You did. So while you were struggling to describe negative space,
did you ask ChatGPT what negative space was?
I asked ChatGPT what negative space is because why not? It was in a tab.
I knew you would.
So ChatGPT says negative space, also known as white space or blank space, is the area around, between, and within objects or subjects in an image or design that is left unoccupied, blank, or unmarked.
No, that's not exactly right.
It goes on to say, well, here you go. It goes on to say, it is the absence of visual elements such as shapes, colors, and patterns that create a contrast with the positive or occupied space in the composition. No. Better? Okay, here's the third try. Negative space is often used to balance the composition, emphasize the main subject, create a sense of depth or simplicity, and evoke certain emotions or meanings. It is commonly used in art, graphic design, photography, and other visual arts. So the last one, third one?
That's exactly what I said.
Oh, yeah. Phil in the chat says ChatGPT confidently wrong. Yeah, I think that's the definition of these large language models, Phil. They're confidently wrong. So,
yeah.
They're like your know-it-all friend. Yeah, they're like your know-it-all friend that knows a lot, but then when it doesn't know something, it doesn't admit it knows something and just says BS, but you still kind of believe it because they're right 90% of the time. That's the problem. That's the problem with AI. All right. Well, cool. Negative space is our topic for which critique number is that going to be? That is 214. Did I get it right? Yeah, 214. 214. Negative space. We'll be recording that not next week, not the first of May, but the 8th of May, I believe we're scheduled to do that. So I will send out the email after this. The event already exists within the community. So folks, you can start posting into Negative Space immediately, and you'll start getting those reminder emails as well. So yeah, looking forward to that one. That should be fun. Negative Space. That's very similar to Shadows though, right? So it's very similar in terms of, are we seeing negative space or are we just seeing a void, or something? I don't know. It should be interesting.
It's really, I think it's really different. I mean, if you think of like film noir, the shadows are really your subject, right? Like subjects walking into a light, you get this long shadow. Like that's not really negative space though, because the subject is filling that gap and becomes the actor, becomes your subject. However, you could creatively use shadows for negative space. I mean, this is really sort of an advanced topic when you think about it, right? Like we use negative space sometimes unconsciously, but to consciously create an image or find one and fill it with negative space and use it as part of the subject was like, that's going to require some thinking.
Or is it simpler than we think, right? Because negative space could be a blank sheet of paper with, a pencil on it, right? In the lower left-hand corner, the whole frame is filled with white paper, or even a pencil eraser with some eraser shavings right there on there. Then it's mostly nothing, but then there's a subject in there that's, probably at the rule of thirds intersection or something. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah. We shall see.
Don't make garbage. No.
All right. Yeah. Please don't share garbage. That's a t-shirt that says that. Don't share garbage. All right. Well, cool. Well, we will leave it right there. Thank you, Mr. Miller, for your assistance in critiquing this batch of images. Thank you for everyone who showed up in the chat and watching this. If you are a TWiP member, please go ahead and submit your image. I hate the word submit. Share your image in the event comments for the Negative Space event, which is already posted. If you are not a TWiP member and you'd like to become one, just head over to join.thisweekinphoto.com and become a member so that you can join in on these festivities. Cool. And with that, we will leave it right there. All right. Trey Miller, thank you, my friend.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Have an amazing week.
See ya. All right.